What is up, homies? Welcome back to another episode of the CzechXicans podcast here on Heroes Reforged. It is our pre-Comic-Con episode, our Comic-Con preview, I guess. We're going to talk about some cool things. A lot of people have been asking us about meetups and all that kind of shit. Mm-hmm. We are going to be doing one. We're going to talk about that. It'll be a good time. Yeah. But Patreon's popping off, y'all. We're doing a lot of stuff on there. We are in the middle of doing The Boys. We just started X-Men, the animated series, season 2. We are about to wrap up Ms. Marvel, which I'm very sad about. Great show so far. And we got more stuff coming this month. There's a lot of stuff. We're also going to be, because it's Comic-Con month, and because we have a gap between Ms. Marvel and She-Hulk and Andor, we're going to be recording a lot of stuff, so we're going to have consistent content on Patreon. Primarily, we're going to be doing a movie reaction for something that people have been really stoked for us to watch, which is RRR. Probably one of the most talked about movies this year. Yeah. Not even in our community only, even outside of our community. So many people have been talking about that movie. I've heard it's banana sandwich.
Yeah, I've only heard to be prepared because it's so wild. Yeah. So I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, so if you want the that good Heroes Reforged content, you got to get on Patreon. Sorry. Sorry, guys.
Like I said before, there's so much now at this point that we wouldn't even be mad if you did it for 1 month, binge a bunch of stuff, and then that's it. So, but you're going to stick around. That's the thing. Yeah. We're going to give you a taste, and you will stick around.
Once you pop, you just can't stop.
That's right.
That's really
not fun.
Pringles. We really appreciate all the support of all of our patrons. You make it possible for us to do this, period. So thank you. And for everybody who isn't a Patreon member yet, what the fuck? I thought we were friends. You insult me.
I take this as a personal insult.
Insult me to my face. You insult my family. And I'm coming for you.
You insult my cats and my dogs.
Close the computer right now. You're not allowed to watch this. I swear to God.
Put your headphones down immediately.
Close it. Turn it off. Get out of here. Shut it down. Turn it off.
I hope that pokes somebody in the eye.
Yeah. Both of them.
And I'm going to make you cry.
Also, The Rings of Power is coming out September 2nd. And so we're also going to be doing a little bit of a marathon of the Lord of the Rings films. And also as a bonus, Augustine got to do something very, very cool with his wife Cynthia a few years back. You got to visit New Zealand.
Yep.
You got to meet Peter Jackson.
Middle Earth.
Middle Earth.
We had a lot of really special Hobbit-themed, Lord of the Rings-themed activities. Yeah. I don't want to spoil it all, but there's a lot of really cool stuff. Yeah. That book, there's a green book back there. I'll explain why that book is special after we watch it. Yeah. There's lots of Lord of the Rings goodness coming if you're excited about Lord of the Rings, as we are, and as I am, because Lord of the Rings is my Star Wars and Marvel and stuff. So
exactly. So there's going to be a lot of cool stuff, and the second part of the year for some content, we still don't know exactly what Marvel stuff is coming out and when. But we're doing
I just showed you that picture, and it's wait, when is What If Season 2 coming out? We don't know.
When are the Groot shorts coming out?
Yeah, August 10th, I think. But we'll get to that stuff.
Yeah, so we're still going to be doing stuff, obviously, till the end of the year, but we definitely wanted to have stuff because we're prepping for Comic-Con and because some shows are ending. We wanted to make sure that we had a little bit of a catalog of things for people to watch, and we're doing things that are going to continue on, like X-Men Season 2. We'll go all the way till September, so we want to make sure that we just pad stuff out, and we'll continue doing episodes of the CzechXicans podcast. We'll do a recap of Comic-Con when we come back. Yep. How do you guys feel about going back to Comic-Con? It's been 3 years.
It's crazy.
What's up, homies? Before we get into the CzechXicans podcast, I want to share something very, very special. I had a chance to interview Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling to talk about their brand new podcast that starts tomorrow called Talkville. The podcast is about their journey revisiting Smallville after so many years of it being off the air. All 217 episodes, a huge 10-year run, and they're going to be going back, or they're going to be going through the entire series, sharing insight and tidbits about the making of the show. And I had a chance to ask them some of the things that we can look forward to, some of the things that they're excited to revisit. So check out this interview for Talkville.
Smallville was one of those shows that I grew up with it. It came out when I was an 8th grader. And then, I went through so many of those similar experiences just growing up and dealing with my own sort of issues. So it was very kind of reflective of what Clark Kent went through with his dad and the knowledge and wisdom he got from him.
Good point. Did you have a 23-year-old Lex Luthor type trying to hang out with you in high school? Clark did?
No, but I had other people in my life who were very shady characters that I was like, oh, I'm kind of glad I moved on from having those people in my life. Yeah. When the idea for this kind of came to either of you guys or to both of you, what was the one thing that you thought would be an amazing part of doing this that you could maybe go back and discuss or feature that maybe you wouldn't have gotten to in any other context?
Well, that's definitely a question for Michael because it was his idea. And he was the one who convinced me it was a good idea. So
yeah. So if it ends up turning out to be shitty, then you can blame me. It was one of those things where I just felt, you know what? I think the world needs this now. I think, the world needed Smallville when it came out. And it's been long enough where people are rewatching it. It's like people's children are now watching it. It was time, and I think people really wanted to see a rewatch podcast, and they'd love to hear the stories that we had to share. They'd love to hear how we felt about the episodes, how we critique the episodes. They could interact. There's a hotline. It just seemed like it'd be a fun thing to do for not only us, but the fans.
Yeah, and because of Michael's success on his Inside of You podcast and the team he already has, it was very clear that he knows how to produce it. And then with this idea that we would watch the show before and then talk to each other about what we liked and didn't like or different stories that come up that that are jogged from the memory as of watching it, which turns out to be a lot that Michael doesn't know, things about that, how Michael operated that I didn't know. It's just a lot of it's not behind the scenes, but it's behind the curtain in a lot of ways. It's
been so many years since the show was on the air. It's been so many years since you guys shot it. Is there any little nugget of information, or maybe there's multiple nuggets of information from either an episode or a season that you've been holding on to for all these years, and now this podcast is kind of giving you the avenue to share some of that stuff?
There's just little things from each episode that we recall, and we don't know the answer to that just yet because we've only shot a few episodes. So that will come. There'll be episodes where I'm like, oh my God, I remember this. I remember that. All these things. I think that's part of it as we watch all these and review them. I think a lot more will come to the surface that we're not even anticipating.
I don't really have a set the record straight agenda, if you know what I mean. I just want to see what pops out and what I remember and what might be fun for the fans to hear, because I love hearing actors and directors talk about that kind of stuff, sometimes more than I like watching their films. I love how things operate and how they turn out the way they do.
We do so many things on the podcast. We have a hotline where people can call and ask questions. And we have our Ryan, who's our engineer, who's never seen the show. So watching him watch it for the first time and sitting with us. And we have what's Ryan's favorite scene? And Tom trying to guess his favorite scene, and how many times, how many deaths in the show, how many saves in the show, all these cool little things that we do. And I think that the show the podcast will grow and become what it's supposed to be as time goes on. Because right now we're finding ourselves and trying to enjoy it at the same time.
And a big part of that will be fan participation and the questions they have in the comments they do have. If they're like, hey, you guys should, if we see that we should do more of one thing because that's what the majority of people want, we can adjust. If anything, we have too much to say. So we have editors that narrow it down. So
yeah, we have a Patreon account so people can support the podcast, and that's going now. And we're gonna have it's just cool. We're gonna have a Shopify, and we're gonna right now we're gonna get a T-shirt, but then that will evolve. So the whole thing is in the beginning stages of. By the way, it's patreon.com/Talkville.
Since it had been so long, and now we're kind of in this world where superheroes are they're the thing. But back in 2001, when the show originally premiered, we had some superhero movies here and there. We had some Batman films. We had one Superman film. That generation, my generation, we're a little bit older now. But are you surprised by how many people that are of the younger generation have discovered Smallville, whether it was during the pandemic or even before that, and are looking forward to this? Because I feel like Superman is a character that part of his life is so underexplored, even in the comic books to an extent. And this kind of really did define that part of his life. So I imagine that the fan base has to be very, very excited about this.
I think so. I mean, if you look at the Superman films, it's him. A common theme is him trying to relate to humans, where I think in Smallville, he was more of a human trying to relate to the fact that he was just not normal. That was a big thing. And we had to fend that off for many years. You know, it'd been just so easy for him to put on some version of a suit and run around and do all those things. And we were lucky with the effects and whatnot. The cost to do the effects had just come down enough where they were accessible to these brilliant people that we had on our show. And we were just right at the right spot to be able to do that. I mean, there were things that cost $20,000 season 1 that I don't think they charged us for, like season 5, because everything had gotten so advanced at that point. Like the super speeding was like such a thing at the beginning. And it was like, we could do it like that a couple seasons in. It was strange.
I left in season 7, and that's the last season that was shot on film. It was a lot, and then it was all digital after that. So they saved an exorbitant amount of money doing the show after that.
It got to a point where we would have 8 cameras on a stunt day, film cameras. And then season 7, season 8, there'd be about all these like Canon D9s or whatever they were at the time.
Yeah, DSLRs, yeah.
And I was like, this looks a lot simpler. And the DP was like, well, it's not simpler. It's just more efficient. You know, everything technology jumped so much in those 10 seasons.
What has Smallville meant for you while you were shooting it versus now that you're going back to revisit it?
You know, I think it was the biggest time of my life in terms of success, and it brought me so much and opened so many doors that I'm forever grateful. Even 20 years later, I'm able to go to conventions, enjoy the fans, and do a podcast like Talkville. And it's just one of those things that the gift keeps on giving. I just feel very fortunate. There's a notion, or like people say, well, what else has he done? Well, how could you top one of the biggest shows on television? You really can't. So I'm sort of like, I did it. I don't have to prove anything else, and anything else is just gravy. So that's how I feel about it.
The success of the show at the time, I didn't understand it. I was too busy to even understand it, but I knew it was a good opportunity, and I knew it was something good. I knew we were doing something good because I could see the way people were all working around me. And now looking back, I think it's the meeting the fans at the conventions, listening to what the show meant or it still means to them. That is something that we didn't experience before that. I'm not a big online chat guy with comments and things, but I do like being at the conventions and seeing, how people, their emotional response to the show, talking about how they used to watch it with their father, who's no longer maybe there, or they name their kids after the characters. That's like, that interaction's a lot of fun for me.
And so, I mean, as someone who loves Superman, obviously, the show was hugely impactful in my life. The relationships you guys have with your parental characters in the show, just the story itself. So to be here to be able to just even ask you these questions and to have an opportunity to talk to you guys is super, super special. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
I cannot wait to check out the podcast. I'll be following it every single week that you guys do it. And I just can't wait. So thank you guys so much.
Adam, you're the best, man. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care, Adam.
Huge shout out to Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Willing for taking the time to talk to me about their upcoming podcast. I cannot wait to watch these guys relive the show. Smallville meant so much to me growing up. Not only was it an insight into Superman's journey, Superman's life, a character who I love so much, but a lot of things that the character went through sometimes reflected the things that I was going through. So there was a very relatable element to the show that I really love so much. So I cannot wait to check it out. Check out Talkville starting tomorrow. You can watch it on YouTube. You can listen to it wherever all your podcasts are sold. Thank you again to Michael and Tom for taking the time. And now let's get back to the CzechXicans.
The first time I heard about Comic-Con, I had just moved to San Diego.
Yeah.
I didn't know what Comic-Con was.
Oh, my God.
It was 2004, I believe. Hector, you'd already been 1,000 times. You had probably already been 1,000 times.
That would have been my fifth one, I think.
Yeah. So I didn't know it was a thing. I had just gotten into the school, ready to study animation. My buddy, actually Tony, the guy who came by to drop the donuts, him and 2 of my other friends who have since moved away, we were just walking around downtown having a good time. They were just showing us the town, and they're like, "Oh, there's a comic convention here. Do you want to do this?"
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I don't know what this is, but okay. It was Saturday. I know it was a Saturday.
Oh yeah.
I just walked right in.
Got
$25.
Yep.
Got my tickets, registered, got my badge, and I didn't know that I was walking into a trend that was going to stick with me for the rest of my life, basically. I was like, oh my God, this is like everything that my childhood self had thought about. And so to have that every year of my life since then, and then it's just not there, was kind of weird. Even though I have suffered from con burnout. Like con burnout is very real.
For sure.
Not having a California burrito in the summertime is a tragedy. It's an absolute tragedy.
Yep.
And so, I mean, I go for the burritos, but I go for the interactions. I've made so many friends. I met Keller for the first time at Comic-Con. I met Abby for the first time at Comic-Con. Who else did I meet for the first time? I've met so many people for the first time at Comic-Con, where for me, like, it's a celebration of friendship, basically going and hanging out with friends and doing all this cool stuff.
Man.
So
I remember running around downtown San Diego at night, and I think like Alex Puccinelli
that's right.
lifted somebody on his back or something. And we went to go get pizza.
We went to go get pizza.
Oh, that's right.
We were
the place on Market Street.
constantly drunk.
Yeah.
No, not really. But it's fun.
Kind of.
A little bit.
Well, I think when we first started going as a group, we also just, I think before it was just kind of like, it was new for us to go as a group. It was new for us to go with like having our own YouTube channel and kind of making videos around the convention. So we were really just kind of like letting ourselves be fully absorbed into like that thing, whatever that thing is. But yeah, it has been. I mean, I have missed a couple of Comic-Cons for weddings and for like trips that I've gone to, like family trips. But otherwise, I've been to almost every Comic-Con since 2000.
Wow.
And I mean, I'm sure you know those Comic-Cons. Those back then, pre 2005, 2006. The con was like, you just walked up.
Time.
You walked up. You just wait in line. You filled out the form. You gave them $25.
Question: how did you both of you first hear about it? Because for me, it was just a happen chance walk up.
Yeah.
Did your parents say, "Hey, my son is a big fat fucking geek, and I'm going to take him to this thing"? Or
first of all, I'd be like, "That's really mean, Mom."
I know your mom talks to you like that, Hector.
I'm glad you said geek because that's mean. I remember when I was a kid, I saw a TV commercial for it.
Oh,
in
wow.
San Diego.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Growing up in San Diego, either a TV commercial or maybe I heard a radio ad.
Yeah.
Which maybe sounds more likely, but I remember like seeing an ad for it and knowing that it was happening that weekend in downtown San Diego at the convention center. And I remember asking my dad to take me, and he was like, okay. And he was like not into it. Yeah. But I was like, let's go just for like half a day. I just want to go see it. And it's like you guys are describing. You could walk up, buy a ticket. You know,
it's all there.
Walk around, pretty much see everything in one day.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Pretty much. Because
the floor was pretty easy to walk
This
through.
was in the 1990s.
Yeah.
This was like 97, 98, somewhere in there. And maybe 1996 was like the first year I went when I was like 9. And after that, at some point, they did an extension to the San Diego Convention Center. Like all of San Diego was like, we're adding stuff, more to it to kind of build this whole thing out because it was getting bigger and bigger.
Because it wasn't the whole floor, right?
Correct.
They just cut off sections of the floor.
So you really could do it in the whole thing in a day. And now we think about doing San Diego Comic-Con in a day. You're like, you're joking.
Yeah.
You need 4 days plus preview night.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and that's kind of how it was for me. I honestly don't remember what was the thing how I found. I want to say my mom probably was the person who found out and asked me if I wanted to go, because I do remember her dropping me off to go.
She didn't even go with you.
I was 14. I was old enough. It was fine.
Okay.
I wasn't 9. If I was 9, she wouldn't let me go by myself. But I do. Yeah, and I remember the floor being not empty, but you could easily just maneuver. There wasn't big crowds. I mean, the first year I went was when X-Men was coming out, the first X-Men movie,
right.
And somebody from the movie was there, and they were just sitting on a bar stool, and they had like 15 people around them. And I just remember walking up and just talking to them about the movie and the comic book that the movie was adapted on, or the comic book that was adapting the movie.
Right, I remember that.
Right.
Yeah.
They may have even handed that out at San Diego Comic-Con. Like, here you go.
Yeah. It's
X-Men, based on the movie, based on the comic.
Exactly. So
who was the person that was there? Do you remember?
I remember.
We talked about this before, Hector. You know who it is.
What?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yes,
I
you
forgot.
It was Bryan Singer.
He was trying to grab at him.
Listen.
Oh, God.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Also, but the funny thing is, I also have a Comic-Con story about Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
In 2011, boo Joss Whedon, by the way. Boo.
But
in 2000,
wait, let's get him a.
there's no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been perfect.
And-
when you were
and-
like, it was
and
Bryan
Bryan Singer.
I would have been like, oh, Bryan Singer. Yeah. The thing I remember is in 2011, this was the year that this dude had already done Buffy, Firefly.
He was shooting Avengers.
He was shooting Avengers.
Finishing Avengers.
Yeah.
And in 2011, they came out with. It was the same month as, like the same weekend as Captain America: The First Avenger.
Oh, that's right. And they debuted
it at Comic-Con, and then at the end of that movie, they had that little teaser for Avengers coming out next year. And I remember running into him on the floor. He was just walking around.
Just walking around.
And one person had talked to him, but then I kind of grabbed him before everybody else descended. I was like, "Hey, man, incredibly excited about Avengers next year." And he's like, "Oh, thank you." I said, "It's the movie I've been waiting for since I was a kid, since I was 5 years old. Like, that's the movie that I've been waiting for."
Yeah.
And then I remember him being like, "Oh, no pressure, no pressure." And I'm like, "It's fine." I told him, I just saw the thing at the end of Cap. It looks great. Like, it's going to be great. Anyway, that guy sucks. And that'll always be a memory of mine. And you'll always have a memory of,
you'll always have
that's
that memory.
the director of X-Men, because it was cool.
Because at the time I was excited because I got the comic book and he was like, "Oh, let me check it out." And we're flipping through it.
That's cool.
And
but
it was
fuck
like
that guy.
Yeah, it was
but
like
that's cool.
There was deleted scenes that are in the comic book. And he said, "Well, do you want me to sign it for you?" He signed it for me.
Yeah.
So for years I was like so stoked to have this X-Men adaptation.
And then you burned it.
And, no, I still have it, but now I'm just like, "Oh, all right. Well, can I get Hugh Jackman to sign it so I feel a little bit better?"
At least, right?
You run into Hugh, be like, Hugh, Brian Singer signed this.
Can you do me
cross
a
his
solid
name out? Can you cross his name out and just write your name at the bottom, please?
Pretty much.
Please. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I have so many great memories from Comic-Con before it kind of became
me too.
San Diego Comic-Con, the pop culture event. I think I want to say it was maybe like 2004 or 5, somewhere in there where the shift really happened.
When they started promoting
Harry Potter and
the
Twilight.
Punisher with Thomas Jane, that's when things.
That's when
I was like,
that was the major hit there. When they started promoting Ghost Rider. Nicolas Cage.
2007.
I do remember.
This is how janky Comic-Con used to be in the 90s. Walking around the floor, Marvel Comics proper had a booth.
Yeah.
And I remember there being people in costumes there at the Marvel booth, like that they hired, like people that they hired as part of the show.
Yeah.
And there was a guy in a big fake-looking Hulk thing, like it was big and dumb and fake. And then the guy who they had in the Spider-Man outfit, he had a hole in his sock that I could see
his toe,
his foot.
Tell me his toe was sticking out.
Not his whole toe, but I could see the side of his foot.
Oh my God.
And I remember seeing that as a child, and just like knowing as a 9 or 10-year-old that I'm like, this obviously. None of these characters aren't real, but the fact that Marvel Comics flew out to San Diego, set up this booth, hired this person.
Because in New York back then.
This is
went to Spirit Halloween, picked up a costume.
Like it was costumes that looked. I think maybe there may have been a woman dressed as Storm also.
Yeah.
Like they hired a black actress to put on the wig, and it was like the white costume from the 90s cartoon, basically, that look of Storm. And I was wondering too, I'm like, I wonder if these are the same costumes and characters and people from like Universal Studios, because at the time they had the Marvel license.
They still have them.
They do in Florida, but not in LA.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, are they from Islands of Adventure, or are they from the Marvel Mania restaurant in Hollywood, Universal Studios? But I just remember that sock and just remember thinking like, that's so sad.
Yeah.
And
Marvel was in trouble in the 90s though.
Man,
that's why we're in the pickle we're in now.
Yeah.
It's so easy to point to Marvel Studios owned by Disney and be like, they're the top dog.
Yeah.
They're
bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
In my brain, and maybe I have this bias that is wrong, I still really do think of them as the underdog.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
When they're the opposite of that now. But in the 90s, they hired a sockless Spider-Man for San Diego. Like, it's just so crazy how far we've come.
I know, yeah.
It's crazy because now they would have Tom Holland walking around like up on stage in Hall H in the movie quality suit, or Tom Hiddleston came out as Loki.
Yes, exactly.
It's incredible.
Yeah. It's absolutely incredible where it's come, and it's just I don't know.
Hall H, you just walked in.
Yes.
Yeah, I walked into Hall H my first time. My first time,
God.
I was like, okay, cool. There's a giant hall, and it was dark. It was between shows.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what happens in here?
Yeah.
And then I just left.
Yeah, I had no idea. And I think the only reason I went in there was because I found out that Chris Nolan was doing something for Batman Begins.
Ah, okay.
And it was a video presentation, so there was nobody from the movie was actually there on stage. Yeah. But after that, they did a signing at the Warner Brothers booth. It was Cillian Murphy and David Goyer.
Wow.
I had no fucking clue who they were.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got this thing signed, and I was like, "Oh, you're playing the Scarecrow. That's really cool." Not knowing that in like 15 years, Cillian Murphy was going to be like one of the most successful actors in Hollywood.
Yes,
Because of course you don't know that.
Right. Or that David Goyer is this like king of comic book writing and adaptations.
And even
producer.
back then, like he was already doing, you know, some of the Blade movies.
Yeah.
But you know, I just didn't have that knowledge base back then.
Yeah.
But it was so easy. Yeah, you just walked in, you sat down, you watched it.
It was the
I
best.
literally walked to the Warner Brothers booth. I was like the 15th person in line.
Yep.
I didn't have to run. I didn't have to punch people. I didn't have to stab people with pencils
You
to
didn't
get in
have
there.
to wake up at 5 a.m. to
I didn't
get
have
in
to
the line.
sleep on the floor outside. You know, it was different. But yeah, you know, then they started bringing Harry Potter, Twilight, and just kind of more embracing all of fandom, and it really changed.
I think that it did change, and I think that for a minute, people who we think of as kind of being untouchable were reachable in a Comic-Con setting.
For sure,
I want to say, though, it's still worth going to San Diego Comic-Con, that big show where all of that type of activity is limited to like the after parties.
Yeah.
And if you can't get in, if you don't know the hookup, then you're not going, and that's fine. But I want to say this. If you're a fan of comics, if you're a fan of cartoon shows, and you know about you're the behind the scenes people, like the three of us, if we saw Genndy Tartakovsky
Oh my God.
at San Diego Comic-Con, he is not super mega celebrity guy, but all the nerds maybe know him, but maybe they won't even know what he looks like. But if we did, that's a situation where it's like, you might be able to go up and be like, hey, are you Genndy Tartakovsky? I just want to say,
Big fan.
I remember seeing those kinds of heroes of mine walking around. And I feel like I must have flagged a few of them down, comic book writers, artists.
Right.
And that stuff's the coolest.
Yeah, I agree.
It's awesome, but it's only great when you happen to see the person that you're like, I know
them.
I know who you are, and you're a behind the scenes person. So I really love the thing you worked on. I'm going to come and tell you.
That happened with me in 2010 with Michael Giacchino.
Yeah, he was walking around.
Yeah, he was walking around.
Him and his kids were handing out tickets for their concert that they were putting on. And I was just like, that's Michael Giacchino, Michael Giacchino's kids.
Yeah, and you know,
crazy.
Now I feel like most people who are into movies know what Michael Giacchino looks like. But 2010, you know, he was working on Lost, but he was still, you know,
fresh to the industry.
There are people watching around. They're like, I have no idea who the hell that is.
For sure.
Yeah,
but it was a really cool moment to see. And
more Michael Giacchino for the rest of us.
Yeah, I was with my friend. And he's like, I think that's Michael Giacchino, and he turned around and we're like, oh my God, it is. So we went and we talked to him. It's kind of the same thing when I went to Star Wars Celebration and I saw John Knoll in 2015. And he was with his kids, and I went up to him and I was like, don't want to bother you. Just want to say thank you for Photoshop and also thank you for my career. And his kids were like, his kids lit up, and then he was, I don't think he knew how to like process what I just told him, but
that's so cool.
It was a nice like personal
moment.
moment.
Thank you for Photoshop. What? You got to be a nerd to
change
know
the world.
That guy did that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Him and his brother, invented
That's
Photoshop.
awesome.
But yeah, I mean, you know, it has been weird to not have Comic-Con for 3 years. I know that they've done the smaller con.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I have not watched or participated in those at all, because we've had Marvel doing investor type of things. DC's been doing DC Fandom. So I've kind of been getting the things that I have been really wanting to know about through other avenues, through other means. We should talk about, we are going to do a meetup at Comic-Con.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait,
people have been
before we do that, I'm about to ruin the whole show because I'm halfly lit.
Oh, I see. Oh, whoops.
Oops.
Look at you.
Look at that.
Look at that crispy.
Oh, wait. There's
now
like
you're
a huge...
overly lit, dude.
Oh.
I'll stay right here.
I think it's because that diffuser is not covering it.
Oh, now you look good.
Is that
there
better?
You go.
Oh.
Tech, baby. We know what's up.
Those Patreon dollars, well spent.
So
we gotta get this little piece of paper. Okay.
Yes. What are you showing that for? What's lighting I have a hood?
Diffusion fabric. Diffusion fabric. High quality.
It's our content vertical.
Exactly. That's where all our vertical content goes.
That's right. Into diffusion.
Into the lights.
Adam, what day are we doing a meetup?
We're doing a meetup on the Friday of...
Are we sure we want to announce this to the internet? Because we're going to get swarmed.
Well, where else are we going to announce it?
It's supposed to be secret. It should be secret.
Only for patrons.
Secret meetup. Right. Because if you're not a Patreon member...
Don't tell people.
Don't tell us a secret. It's a secret. What day, Adam?
It's on the Friday of Comic-Con.
What time?
So we're going to...
From 5 to 7.
Yes.
Where? At your mom's house.
Sylvia is going to be overwhelmed. That's too many people.
Not your mom's house.
Oh,
their mom's house.
Okay. Not your mom. I bet you somebody's mom would be like, come over.
Come over. I'll cater. It's all good.
Hey, estamos aquí en Chula Vista. Come over.
La carne asada ya está lista.
15 minutes from the convention center. Let's go.
Perfect. Just get an Uber.
Mira, mijo, just jump on the gold line y ahí estás. Mira.
Oh my God.
Gold line.
Yeah, so we are going to be doing a meetup from 5 to 7 on the 22nd, which is the Friday of Comic-Con. It will be at a brewery called Mike Hess Brewing. It is.
I totally thought it was Jared Hess.
Is that the director of Napoleon Dynamite?
Yes. Jared Hess.
So his cousin
Jared
Mike
Hess,
has a brewery.
It's
in Seaport
correct.
Village,
Yes.
which is literally like 5 minutes from the convention center. You
That's
just
where
walk on the
Augustine
boardwalk.
was walking when he realized that there was a Comic-Con back in the day.
Right. That's
Right
where
there,
I was
right there.
walking. Exactly.
That's
right.
Bingo.
Mike Hess Brewery.
Mike Hess Brewery. Not to be confused with Jared Hess Brewery.
It's a 2-story establishment. We are going to have our meetup on the top level, which overlooks the entire bay. It's all open door. There's no roof on the building.
Cool.
Downstairs, they do have a bar. They have beer, obviously, because they're a brewery. But they also recently added, how would I describe this? Alcoholic icy type of drinks. So they have like a frosé, which is
adult slushies.
Yeah, adult slushies basically.
go.
So they have three flavors. So if you're not into beer, you have options. They also have food there. So if you want to order food for yourself, that'll be available. But we will be there from 5 to 7 p.m. We have a hard out at 7 because we have other things that we are doing after that.
And Mike Hess is kicking us out.
Jared Hess wants that table that we're going to be at.
Yeah.
For sure.
Jared
to
Hess
film,
has shown up.
to film Napoleon Dynamite 2.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right,
Exactly.
definitely.
The Comic-Con
What's the name of that? What's the name of that? John Heater?
John Heater.
Yeah.
He plays Napoleon?
Yeah, he'll be there.
He seems like a cool guy.
He'll be there
like him.
shooing us out.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
Cool.
So it's not like it's not a super formal thing. Like it's really for people to just kind of come in, have a drink, say hi, talk for a little bit.
Right.
We'll see how it goes, and maybe next year we'll do something a little bit more formal. But because Comic-Con, it's the first Comic-Con back, and we are still like in a pandemic, and COVID is still a real thing. We wanted to do something that was super flexible, where if people wanted to just come in, say hi, and go, they can do so freely. They don't have to feel like they have to be there for the whole 2 hours. And we wanted to do something that's like open space where people can kind of like move around and not be in some enclosed space, because we have to be there for 4 days.
Right.
You're going to be working.
Don't want to get sick. Don't want to get
stuff.
Hector sick. Don't want to get Adam sick.
Yeah.
I don't want to get sick.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really going to try super hard not to get COVID. That's going to be that's the challenge this year at Comic-Con.
Just evading COVID.
Don't cough
like
at me.
Blade.
Right.
So please wear your mask if you come and meet us, because we're going to meet about 1,500 people. So just come up to us, wear your mask. We're going to be wearing masks. We're going to try to stay safe, but come and say hi.
Yeah. Have a beer with us. Have a beer with us.
Yeah.
I will put information for the venue down in the description below. I will geotag it.
Oh yeah, don't tell anybody though.
Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. Don't post about it on Twitter, Instagram, Discord. No, you can post on Discord.
Don't share it on all your social medias. Don't share it on anything.
Or I will kill you.
Don't tell your mom that we're coming to her house.
Sylvia is gonna be surprising.
But yeah, we wanted to do something, but we didn't want to like overplan something and do something like super chaotically like micromanaged. Just something where it was like easy for us. Luckily for us, I know one of my best friends works for Mike Hess, so they were more than happy to just like let us do our thing there.
Jared Hess.
Yeah, Jared
Shout
Hess.
out to Jared Hess.
Shout out to Mike Hess and my friend Ryan for
Thank you, Ryan. Hugs, besitos.
Ryan will
Thank you.
actually be there too, so you can
Wait,
thank him.
Ryan?
Yeah.
I thought his name was Brian.
Ryan Hess. His name is Ryan Hess,
bro.
Yeah,
you can't keep it together.
Yeah,
Ryan Hess.
Ryan Hess, and then Jared Hess.
That's right.
But then Mike Hess, who's the papa, is going to be there too.
And Uncle Larry Hess.
And then
too.
Mama Hess is at the house that we're going to have it
That's
at.
right.
And Baby Hess is still sleeping in the bed right now.
Baby Hess will be downstairs churning the beer.
Baby Hess has got to pay his dues.
That's right.
Yes. He's
got to work your way up in the company.
He's a bit of a scumbag, so we got to make him do work to shape up.
Okay, what else we have to we announced the meetup. We're talking about our Comic-Con experiences.
Yeah, so I guess also expectations for like what we're going to be doing at Comic-Con. We are not going to be doing like some super crazy mega coverage of the convention. We really want to go to just kind of experience it for ourselves and to see what it's like being back after so many years.
Look, real talk. If there's some dope-ass trailers that are dropping,
the trailers are the
like
priority for us.
Breaking the internet, we will react to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
If we can, I don't know, run into just off the top of my head, Oscar Isaac, and get him to come to our hotel room to do an interview.
He
for
will
30
definitely
minutes.
will.
Yeah.
We're going to try to do that.
That's right.
No guarantees, no promises.
Yeah.
No, I can guarantee he's coming to our room. I can
just hand him a beer and a burrito, and I think he'll be like, "Oh, these are my people."
Oscar, ven para acá. Ven para acá. Ven, habla. Mira, mijo.
If we could, sneak in a camera to some sort of like exclusive, Marvel after party, we'll try to do that, but no guarantees, no promises.
Yep.
I would say that honestly, in all jokes aside, like the best thing to do is just follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
All three of us plus the Heroes Reforged accounts, because that will be the best way. Because we're going to be doing a lot of things together. But we might also break off and go do our own things.
I'm going to hang out at Lolita's and just wait for the news to drop. So.
That's a good idea. And then when you get the Heroes Reforged signal, like a trailer.
Right.
What
a trailer?
They're summoning me.
Shooting live from Lolita's.
And then we'll go to the hotel room and do a trailer.
With the cooks. Here's Pancho.
Yeah.
Here's Juanito.
Hey, did you see the new Thor?
Do you like the Thor?
Did you see what they said about Phase 5?
That'll be fun.
So it's going to be it's not going to be the most coverage. We're just going to focus on the stuff that we know that will people will want us to react to, which is primarily trailers. And then we just kind of want to go enjoy it for ourselves and just spend some time.
But we will do, like with this, the CzechXicans podcast is going to be the place where we'll do the real Comic-Con wrap-up. Recap. All the stuff that we didn't quite get to talk to.
Because we're potentially going to get major Marvel news at that point,
exactly.
Right? There's going to be...
I really feel like that Marvel Studios panel will probably be the biggest thing at that convention.
This thing could be...
the cast of the Fantastic Four might show up.
Yeah.
It could shatter the earth.
There's going to be Wakanda Forever stuff. That's for sure. We might find out what's going on with Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, that's coming out in November.
Right.
This year.
That's potentially going to be the biggest thing there. And then they said Feige was going to announce a roadmap at some point. Is he going to give us a little teaser here? Is he waiting for a little tricotri at Disney?
We might get our first look at Kang the Conqueror, because that movie comes out next February.
Yeah.
And you know that a teaser or something likes to end with that villain shot.
Yeah, right.
They might do something like that.
We might see the Marvels.
Yeah,
maybe.
Since the show's wrapping. So there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that will probably.
He's so excited.
Yeah, dude. That I think is going to be the highlight panel, because I think traditionally, Star Wars is kind of hit and miss when it comes to SDCC, and I don't know if they have a whole lot of stuff.
They have celebration for that.
Somebody better gift that.
Yeah, dude. I'll take that announcement. I'll lick it.
Lick it and pass it, or just lick it.
I didn't get that announcement.
So it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a really fun Comic-Con for us. It'll be a nice way for us to just kind of it's my first convention, unless I'm forgetting one that I've been to.
I've done so many.
I went to Star Wars Celebration, but I only went for one day, so I wouldn't really count that.
All masked. I went to that one too.
Yeah, but you were there the whole time because you were co-hosting.
You've been to 1 billion conventions at this point.
Yeah.
All over the country.
Yeah, that's great.
In fact, this week I'm going to Chicago.
Have you ever traveled this much?
To see the Bears.
Is this the most you've ever traveled?
Yeah.
How do you like it?
Don't like it.
No?
I could do without it.
Oh my goodness.
Because the people are lovely. You guys, planes are a hassle.
Yeah,
I've finally gotten to the point where I'm they're not glamorous to me. When I first flew to New York in 2014, and I was, Jesus Christ, 24 or something.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Greatest thing ever.
Wow.
Look at this magical sky bus.
Wow.
And now the novelty quickly is worn off.
I'll never forget how...
There's free peanuts?
Oh, my God. Amazing. They're hard to open. I'll never forget my seat was next to the biggest Samoan dude possible.
Yes.
And I remember when I sat next to him that I was just kind of this is really funny that this is my first ever plane ticket I bought as an adult. And I'm sitting next to this very nice person who is very large, and I'm not. But I'm but it was so funny because it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I remember as soon as we took off, I was looking out the window oh my God, I'm flying. This is great. It was amazing.
You were like Peter Parker going to Italy.
And now, and I really was. I'm Peter Parker here to pick up a passport.
Yep.
And now I fly and I'm just
just get it over with.
Just give me over reading my books, just ugh, I just want to get off this flight.
This flight attendant
annoying.
stinks.
I like traveling to places that are vacation spots versus work.
Yeah.
And it's cool to visit
Europe now.
Exactly. I'm stoked to go to Chicago. I'm stoked to go to the places I'm going for work basically, but it's like it's obviously cooler to go to a place and you don't have to work that weekend.
Yeah,
that's ideal. That's all.
Well,
so
I mean, it is work. It's work.
It's work.
And so it's different. You're commuting basically.
It's a long commute.
It's a long commute.
9-hour commute. You know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, I get it.
Maybe I'll get inspired again. Maybe I'll start liking travel.
No, it's fine because that's
Yeah.
not. I mean, it's travel, but it's not travel. It's
get
not
so-
like a Prague trip.
Every time we board a plane, I get frustrated because I'm like, I know there are more efficient ways to do this.
Yeah.
But Americans are self-centered and don't like being told what to do, even if it's for the better of the group.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
let the people in the
Just the way they board a plane.
Speed trains are very anti-freedom. I don't know if you know that. When you can go 500 miles an hour, that breaks the laws of physics, and that's anti-freedom. So you can't have that in the United States. Sorry.
I want it.
It's
I
very
want it.
anti-American
I
of
want
you
that.
to want to be efficient and
I want
get
it.
to places.
Efficiency ain't American.
Also, one time we had like a delayed a layover, and then we missed our next flight, so we had to stay the night in Phoenix, Arizona.
No. Oh,
It
that's
sucked.
the worst place.
It sucked.
You might as well just rent a car and just drive home.
Well, this was on the way there. Otherwise, we would have. Listen, brother, Sunday I might be driving back from Phoenix. We'll see. We'll see.
Just get it over with.
I
Rip the
might.
Band-Aid off.
Please don't melt.
Yeah.
People have a tendency of
I
just
know.
melting
I know.
out there.
Yeah.
Literally.
I mean, we've all vacationed together. I'm pretty good at travel and just being like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm in travel mode.
Yeah.
Things are going to go wrong. Expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
So I'm cool. I'm good at that.
Okay,
Sure,
that's
sure.
good. That's good.
That's good.
That's interesting because before this you didn't travel.
Like at all.
You weren't the traveling guy.
No.
And that's cool.
I think that's the thing.
It's cool that you're traveling, not that you weren't a traveling guy.
that you would,
Right.
I think that's the thing that I like about San Diego Comic Con is that like for us it's very like low lift. You just get in the car or get on a train and go.
And go. Yeah.
It's a lot easier.
I think I want to do the train this year, dude.
Yeah.
I think I want to. No?
Yeah.
I did it that one year.
Train
That one
got
year that we
delayed and
Really?
6-7 hours.
somebody unalived themselves on the track
Oh,
when we
no.
were leaving.
Oh, no.
And so we were trying to get on a train and I had to drive home with like Naeem or something.
Yeah, you mean that you drove home together.
Yeah, us three
Yeah.
drove home together, right?
Yeah,
Because
I
there
meant
was
to take a
nobody on
car.
the train.
Yeah.
For your sanity, because I know how awesome you feel about traveling,
Just drive.
take a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
wait, your mom doesn't live in San Diego anymore.
Not anymore. Can't go to my mom's house.
Can't go. That's why I said not your mom's.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's
She
why we
lives
can't
in-
go there. She lives in wonderful momland.
Yeah.
Wonderful mom.
Where all the moms come from.
I'm next year we're going to Star Wars Celebration and that will be the first international convention that I'll have ever
That's
gone
right.
to.
That's right.
So that will be an interesting trip. We haven't decided if we're going to do New York Comic Con. I've never been to New York, so it's like going to New York for the first time, but then also going to like a convention of like, do I want to do both those things? Do I want to separate those things? It's like all those considerations for traveling, because then it is that thing of like, well, traveling is a pain in the ass right now. How much effort do I want to put into that to go
True.
across the U.S.?
It's not bad. I traveled to New York
Yeah.
mid-pandemic, and it was pretty great. It was aight. And it's doable. It's just
You just
the
have to-
planning. I'm
that's
not a
it.
good planner.
I know.
And so the
know.
planning section is really what's tough for me. But
Yeah.
anyways,
We'll see.
maybe we'll see you New Yorkers out there one day.
Yeah.
Jenks, we're going to stay at your apartment.
Yeah,
so.
that's right.
Just volunteer to anyone who works who lives in New York.
Anyone who's a fan
You
of
got a
ours
couch?
in
We'll
New
sleep
York,
on it.
we're going to be at your house.
You got a floor? Is it
Yeah.
clean? We'll
Right,
sleep on
right.
it.
I don't even care.
That's how I first
I
went
don't
to
care.
New York, and it was awesome. Just
Yeah.
slept on my buddy's couch.
Right.
He let
Yeah.
me into
That's
his
how we gotta do
apartment.
it.
I'm like, hey, man, thanks so much.
They're
And
apartments
it
that
was
are the
awesome.
size of this room.
I love it.
Yeah.
We'll be sleeping on top of each other.
Great.
Great.
Yep.
Great.
Snuggle
In the
up.
meantime, check out all the information in the description, where the meetup's going to be, what time. We'll put that all in there. Also, just follow us on social media. You'll get all the updates on everything that we're doing or what's happening at Comic-Con. And that's going to be the best way to kind of get just like updates on what we're doing. 'Cause
Yeah,
cool.
there might be something that like,
Yeah.
we're not going to do a video for because what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
We
We're
might
just
just be
going to do
tweeting
all
out.
the stuff that we know you guys want to watch. So
We're just going to be tweeting out, meet us at Lolita's right now. Let's go.
Let's
get
get
our
him.
burrito. We saw Benedict Cumberbatch at Lolita's. Let's go. Can you imagine that fucking guy eating a breakfast burrito?
I can't imagine.
I can't.
Wow, this is great.
Yeah, yeah.
This is fantastic.
Fantastic.
This is really.
Yeah.
At some
really
point, we have to have enough influence that I believe that someday we will see a California burrito in either the DC universe or the MCU.
I hope so.
Damn it, that's my one dream.
Yeah, it's possible.
I think so. I think so. One day.
Let's answer a couple of questions from Patreon.
Let's do it.
From Those guys. If you could choose one movie to make your evil twin only watch on a nonstop loop for the rest of their life, with the goal of them to suffer a slow and agonizing death,
oh my gosh,
what movie would you pick and why?
This is such a weird question.
That is a very odd question. First of all,
torture.
How did I fight my evil twin to... I'm strong. I'm strong. I don't know who will win this fight. Will he get me? Will I get him?
You subdued your evil twin.
So I definitely won.
Because your evil twin threatened your wife.
Ah.
And then you
But what if he has an evil wife? Should I threaten his wife?
I don't care how evil his wife is. My money's on good Cynthia.
Well, yeah, of
to
course.
win that fight. So
well,
then that's the advantage.
Squirrely Cynthia might be like real strong, like real. She has like this hidden Hulk force.
I love how you've turned into Hector now, dissecting these questions.
Yeah, that's too much.
I'm just saying.
My answer would be the movie Castaway, and hopefully they'd become a good person by the end of it.
Interesting. Mine would be Cats. That movie is such a piece of shit.
Good pick. Good pick.
Mine
weird.
would be any Minions movie.
There you go.
Those movies are so popular.
They're extremely
It did like incredibly well for them, which I get. It's a kids movie, of course.
Yeah, Gru. The
I think people are ironically watching it too.
No, I think people unironically love the Minions.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think even people who are like my brother's generation, like my brother and his girlfriend were genuinely like, should we go see Minions
because dude, the first one came out when they were 6.
Yeah,
that's true.
And they're 14
it's very
now.
popular.
So I know Evil Me would absolutely dread watching that movie. So it's going to be Minions
You're like,
all day long.
Just all the Despicable Me in the franchise.
Just
all of them.
every movie in the Despicable Me franchise.
Yeah, see, I'm a disgusting person. I would just pick Cats because it's so bad.
Yeah, that's good.
I haven't seen that yet.
Unless they're evil and they're like, this is my jam.
Guys, have you seen the cat litter commercials that look 1,000 times better than the movie Cats?
No.
I believe it.
There's a commercial. I think it's a cat. It's either cat litter or cat food, but it's like people. They're like humanoid people, but they actually have cat faces.
And it looks good.
And I'm like, that's what the movie should have been. Like, you have it right here. Meow Mix is doing it for you.
Yeah, that's so
like,
funny.
I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you guys next time because they're actually very well done. And I'm like, that's the team you should have hired for this thing.
Ooh, anyway. Eamon Yadamio asks, will you guys ever react to Young Justice? Love your videos and shout out to all my Hispanic brothers out there.
We've talked about that 1,000 times.
Great show.
Maybe we'll add it to the docket. Hector, you speak highly of it. I've seen seasons 1 and 2.
I have seen 1, 2, and 3, not 4 yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen 3 and 4.
Good show.
It's been a long time since I watched it, so I don't remember anything that happens in the show.
I think right now I would like for us to get through X-Men, the animated series.
Absolutely.
And then I honestly think when we're done with it, it's like maybe we're going to put out a poll because we've talked about Young Justice. We've talked about Batman, the animated series. We've talked about Spider-Man show from the 90s. We've talked about so many other great animated superhero shows,
Superman,
but that's definitely a contender. The fact that Young Justice is in the same conversation as like Batman the animated series, means it speaks volumes.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Stay tuned. Join the Patreon. Don't ask us again.
Well, we will let you know.
Also, like utilize Discord. Like if you're in our Discord, utilize Discord.
Yeah.
Make suggestions for things because like we can just keep a running list of stuff, and then when we're like, okay, we're ready to launch a new show. Let's put a poll out and let's ask our audience what they would want.
Yeah. Great question.
Tyler Beckett, you have the opportunity to launch a cinematic franchise for a Genndy Tartakovsky project. Samurai Jack, Dexter's Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls.
Samurai Jack.
Which would you choose? How would you do it? And who would you hire? Also, try not to copy answers.
Samurai Jack just won for the next show we have to watch on Patreon because you haven't seen it yet.
Oh, like at all?
Adam hasn't seen any of it.
Oh, shit, dude. And we have to do that before.
I've only seen a couple episodes.
We have to do that before Primal.
Dude,
I've seen 6 episodes of Primal already.
Oh, man.
I think there's 12 in season 1.
I feel like Primal takes Samurai Jack and just like takes it to the next level.
I think we do have to watch.
It's almost
Samurai
doing
Jack
Samurai Jack a disservice to watch it after the fact because you're kind of like, that's cute, and it's like, but here's the thing, bro. In 2003, this was the shit.
Right. But the only correct answer to that is Samurai Jack.
And I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I wonder if they'll ever do a live action Samurai Jack something. And I was like, I bet you somebody will. It's now 20 years past. There are now people who grew up with it like we did who may be in positions of like, what if we did this as a movie? and it's an amazing premise.
I mean, Genndy himself.
Yeah, Genndy, and like bring him in to direct the pilot and then show run the show.
Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna do that, you have to get Genndy to do something
to do it. Yeah, absolutely. He could be potentially a Dave Filoni.
Yeah,
exactly. Here's the thing.
Yeah,
I mean he is a Dave Filoni
in terms of like show running a live action show.
But given that we have seen Samurai Jack, there's so many elements of Samurai Jack that lend itself to the graphic nature of animation.
Here's what I would say:
would it be done justice?
Here's what I would say: don't completely do it this way, but copy some of the approaches of Sin City. Of Speed Racer, where they're like, we're trying to do something
hyper reality,
hyper real. Do that when it applies.
That's a good idea.
And other times lean into doing an old like samurai film of the 70s or like Lone Wolf and Cub, those movies that were inspirations for Samurai Jack and everything that came afterwards, and Mandalorian and a lot of other stuff. So like there are times when you can be like, now this episode is really maybe mirroring, because even the old cartoon Samurai Jack, there was an episode that was inspired by Frank Miller's 300 comic.
Yes.
Remember that? And it would like, it lifted some of that style.
Yeah.
So if you do a live action Samurai Jack series, anthology series, limited series, mini series, whatever, one of them could be like, this feels like a 1970s samurai film. And another episode could be like, this feels like it's a what's the word? Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
he's in the city fighting Aku, like, and it feels like graphic, and and so there's ways you could do that.
I agree. And Genndy, if you are listening, hire us to work on it with you, because we love your project.
I'll get your coffee, brother.
Whatever you need, bro.
Whatever you need.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
Atir Abdul Ralph asks, during the Miss Marvel Episode 4 reaction, Hector mentioned that whenever the MCU introduces a Mexican superhero, he wanted them to get the food representation accurate. Augustine even volunteered to be the food set designer.
Yes.
What are 5 Mexican foods you would shortlist to be on such a show, given the
Tamales.
chance? That's definitely
Número
one.
uno, tamales. Number 2, chicharrones.
Chicharrones.
Number 3, Guadalajara.
That's a city, not food.
Number 4, Chihuahuas.
There's definitely Chihuahuas, but not in the food.
And number 5, chingazos.
Chingazos. There's
if that
chingazos
movie
/putazos.
Sprinkle it with some putazos and some chingazos.
A little bit some putazos on top of your chingazos.
And then put a little tapatio on top of all that. Accuracy.
Little sour cream, little crema.
Those are my foods.
Those are
I need another Czech person on this goddamn podcast.
Nazdravi.
We can pretend.
Yeah, I'll be Czech.
Yeah, I'll be Czech. I mean, all the standard Mexican food stuff. Mexican pizzas, chalupas.
Absolutely. Gorditas.
Churros. I said Mexican
Doritos Locos Tacos.
Doritos Locos Tacos.
Yes,
for
absolutely.
sure. All that
absolutely.
authentic.
Mountain Dew.
Yes.
Baja
Blast.
Baja Blast.
That's
Mountain
right.
Dew.
That's right. I think it's pronounced Baja Blast.
Baja Blast. Yes. Baja
Yes.
Blast.
That's right. That'd be great.
The little churro. You guys said the
Baja
churros.
Blast Authentico.
Yes.
Basically, any item from the Del Taco menu as well.
Gallons of nacho cheese.
Yep.
Yes,
of course.
but very
The more
yellow.
nuclear orange, the better.
Of course, absolutely.
Nuclear orange.
Yep. Dehydrated beans. Definitely. Yep.
Yep.
All that good stuff
Yeah,
that you
just
get
classic
at your
Mexican
classic
cuisine.
taco
Yeah.
stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get anywhere.
There you go.
Readily available all over the country.
All over.
I'm afraid that somebody at Marvel Studios is taking notes. Like, okay, good. Okay, they said something about a
Forward
gordita.
Locos
I just
Tacos,
had
I
one
got
right
it.
now. Double-decker tacos?
I don't know, Kevin. They said that the cheese has to be nuclear. I don't know what that means.
Should we spritz with some Terrigen Mist in the movie?
Should we hire a consultant?
Kevin, that one gave me diarrhea. Should we add that one?
Something about churro? Churros? I can't tell.
Who is
What's
this person?
a putazo?
Kevin, I don't know what
Is
a
that a
chingazo
potato?
is. Kevin, I looked it up. It only came up on Urban Dictionary. I don't know
The
what a
closest
chingazo
reference is chimichangas from Deadpool. I don't know if that's the same thing, but
Kevin, who is this person that's like the assistant? But they're like, but they're not saying Mr. Feige. They're like, Kevin, this is a real shit show.
Kevin, I'm sorry, Kevin.
oh my god.
Kevin, I'm sorry. I'm trying really hard. I just have
God.
no idea what they're saying.
It's my third day. I'm sorry. I don't know what they're talking about.
Kevin, they're talking really like really Mexican. I don't know.
I think they know Spanish. I don't know.
But they're not lisping, so it's not Spanish. I don't know.
But not like real Spanish.
It's like that pretend stuff that they talk here in California.
Kevin, I know I said in my resume that I spoke Spanish, but it's different, so it's hard.
It's like Spanglish.
Yeah.
Spanglish.
Oh, good God. Oh, by the way, the second part of the question was that I could weigh in with Czech dishes.
Oh, weigh in with Czech dishes.
Lots of fried cheese, lots of beer.
Bro. We
Cosell Dark.
should just hire Locale to cater the whole show.
Oh my God.
And shout out to Locale. Is that how you say it?
Locale. Yeah.
Locale, baby. That was the best place we ate in
the Czech
in
potato
the city
salad, the fried pork, the mulled wine.
I remember I had
wine was my favorite.
God,
dude.
Lord help me, Jesus.
I had the beef tartare for the first time.
that stuff was
there.
good.
That was
That beef
so
tartare was
good.
delicious.
That was
Remember
incredible.
after a cold night hiking through the castles
Yes.
of
Hunting
Czech,
vampires.
hunting vampires.
Yes.
We rolled up into Locale, and I had like a warm, like
Mulled wine.
mulled wine.
Or as
my
Abby
God.
says, a muddled wine.
It's
Muddled
delicious.
wine.
Yes,
Delicious.
yes.
It was great.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
good.
is there anything, though, Adam, that if you saw on screen, you would be like, oh, that's my dumplings, or like...
Oh yeah, svichkova is like my favorite dish. I think I talked about it's like the braised beef with the like vegetable cream sauce and dumplings. If I saw that in a Marvel movie, it would instantly go to position 1 in my ranking list. No fucking questions. It could be
Endgame, get at it.
It could be the worst story in the MCU, and I'd be like, nope, position 1, baby.
Yeah, I love that.
It'd be the best.
I know you said you wanted another Czech person on the show, but be grateful that a restaurant has not bastardized your food yet. Be very grateful.
Yeah. No, it's true.
There's no...
The massive disadvantage is I can get literally no Czech food here, so I have to go home and beg my grandmother, please make this.
Right.
Or I got to take it up on myself, which I haven't really done yet. But
You got any Czech cookbooks? Have we talked about this before?
Do I personally own one?
Yeah.
I don't think I do,
Bro,
but at my house we have a ton.
I'm gonna get you one.
At my house we
Because
have
I
a
want
ton.
you to make me Czech food.
Yes.
Yeah, I could for sure. Yeah. Well, Abby bought a couple. I think.
I
while
think
we
she
were in
did.
Prague.
I think she
bought
did.
one or two.
Cookbooks?
Keller bought one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
I could have been having that food this whole time.
Yes, sector.
Yeah, we'll make some stuff. We should make some
yeah.
stuff. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
All right.
Adam Hitchcock asked, would you ever consider doing a Stranger Things watch along or just even an episode talking about the series and your theories? Again, it's just like Young Just.
Yeah, we talked about it.
We got a lot of stuff going.
Yeah,
now, we have two options to either just jump into season 4 or start from the beginning. I don't remember the beginning very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would have no qualms jumping into season 4.
The only reason that I'd be fine jumping into season 4 is just so I could open that Twitter part of my brain and be and like not
know what's going on.
minds.
Do we know when Stranger Things season 5 is coming out?
Well, they just started writing it, so I don't think it's going to be out for another 2 years.
Here's what I think.
Which we could do the whole series at that point.
What I'm saying is, I think that we need to be more on the ball with when season 5 is coming out, because season 4,
that's the final season.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so that
Yeah.
I feel like is what we should strive to do a live,
weekly.
up to
but
date
also
reaction.
to do the going back to Stranger Things season
Yeah.
1 and doing that reaction series leading
Yeah.
up to 5. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, with 4 we missed the boat. So what I
Yeah.
would say is, hold that excitement. We're also there because I love that show.
Oh, me too.
I do too.
We love the show,
And it
but
references so much stuff that I love,
Yeah.
and that I think that I think is the most painful thing for me. Of like,
you just want to. I know.
I want to
So
see
you know
Michael
what?
Myers in the series because
So you
there's
know-
probably going to be some guy dressed up.
I would even say.
Somebody better gift that.
I would even say, even if, like, for example, if you were like, guys, I just started watching season 4 of Stranger Things, I wouldn't even be mad.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, yeah, we missed the boat on the timing of that. However, before 5 comes out, that's the one where I'm like, we should all be watching that when it drops on Netflix. And we should rewatch the series up to that point, and it would probably be a blasty blast.
Yeah,
So
and it'll be fresh and everything.
that's where I'm at with Stranger Things. So stay tuned.
Yeah,
Stay tuned.
and that's kind of the case for a lot of stuff. You know, it's like X-Men. We're doing it now because it's so goddamn long.
Yeah.
it's going to take us a while to get through all the seasons before the new one comes out next year.
97.
So yeah, so
And then
stay
those
tuned.
YouTube videos will do big numbers. You'll see.
right.
We're ahead of the curve.
right.
You'll see.
SE asks, how the heck did you get past the San Diego Comic-Con? My sister, cousin, and I tried for years and never succeeded. I would like to experience it at least once because, well, I have life goals. Also love your content. So this is the first year we're going to a San Diego Comic-Con as press, as Heroes Reforged. So if you work in the industry, oh yeah, there you go. You're the only person
Bro,
who's
don't
gone
hold
one.
that up. They're going to scan it. They're going to scan it and steal it.
No, they need the RFID chip on the back.
Yeah.
And
Don't
the scan is right
Oh
there.
my God, don't show the back. Stop showing the back.
I'm not showing the back. Look, I'm covering the scan.
Put it on the ground, bro. Thank
There you go. Yeah, this is the first year we're going as press. In previous years, we've been able to go because we worked in visual effects for years, so we were able to get professional badges, which is what that is. yeah, I know that it's like it's a minefield trying to get passes for Comic-Con. I will be totally honest with you. I do not know the process for buying passes for San Diego Comic-Con. I think it's one of those things like we just experienced it with Star Wars Celebration. You literally have to be there the moment those things go on sale. And even that I know is not a guarantee for Star Wars Celebration.
Right.
I was in the queue for literally 58 minutes. When I got in, 4-day passes were gone. So I had to buy everybody single day passes for 4 fucking days, and it was so expensive that I hope it's the greatest convention we've ever gone to. Otherwise, I'm going to be pissed for a year.
It won't be. It's going to be a letdown. I tell you that right now.
Expectations
too high.
Lowered.
On the ground.
Too high.
Basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we all were industry professionals at one particular time or the other.
And we're able to renew it for a set amount of years. So yeah.
I'm going to keep this one because this is my last professional badge ever. My professional status runs out after this one.
It's awesome.
So this is a special one for me.
Basically, the advice I think we're saying is like, it is very difficult, but look up any other resources and helpful tips and tricks. And it's a thing where if it's that single focused goal that you have, when you know that they're going to go on sale, you'll be there and you'll be ready to get them like Adam was for Star Wars Celebration. And if you miss it, I remember the other day I was bidding on something on eBay. I was bidding on a comic and I almost had it, and I forgot when it was going to run out. And I lost the bid and didn't go and check it before. And I went back and I was like, oh, I missed it. And I was so bummed. But you know what?
Wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't meant to be. And that thing, I was like, I was not hyper focused on it.
Right, exactly.
So that's on me.
Exactly.
That's on me. But so I'm saying is, that's your own damn fault.
That's your own fault, homie. Also, the other bit of advice is be an industry professional.
No, other than that, to be an attendee, it's like it's difficult, and not only that, but there's travel and hotel.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
Unless you're a San Diego native, which is always an advantage. But
or you live in California or in one of the neighboring states.
Do you guys remember the movie Paul?
Yes, Seth Rogen.
Paul Blart Mall Cop?
Nope. Paul Alien. Voiced by Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
And the two humans in it were Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Yeah.
These two guys were from the UK, and they were such good friends, and they were nerdy, and they had a goal of going to San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So I'd also say, too, like, if you and another person or a friend group are all in on it,
going to Star Wars Celebration.
do that. Get the hotel together. Get the it becomes a bit more feasible when there's like 4 of you trying to we got it. I got all the tickets.
Yeah. I think it adds kind of more to the excitement because you do everything as a group as opposed to just like going alone. And,
I gotta say, one of the best Comic-Cons I ever had was when I planned out my itinerary and I saw the panels I wanted to see with a group of friends I wanted to go with.
Yeah.
Like there was excitement and anticipation and just like when you do, because I know you're going to get your badge one day. When you get your badge, make sure you plan your 1 or 2 days to the T, because there's going to be a day where you're going to be tired, or all you're going to want to eat is California burritos, which is fine because we do it all the time. And then go and have fun and just enjoy your day that you planned out months ahead, so you don't have to think about it anymore, and then just do the thing. Yeah.
A really good resource that I would say is a Twitter account, SD_comic_com.
There you go.
They're not affiliated. They're not an official Comic-Con account, but I have mine too. But they are very good at keeping their Twitter feed constantly updated with tickets, panels, hotels, all kinds of stuff. They're a really good resource. So I would definitely check them out. Follow them. They're really, really good for that kind of stuff. So yeah.
How many more questions we got? 2 more?
2 more.
Okay.
From G. Paul. What has been the toughest part of your YouTube journey? Los quiero, mis hermanos. Been a fan since 2015.
Wow, that's superhero news days.
Why did that Avengers Age of Ultron trailer reaction or review, why is that always the entry point?
That is the one. That's our first one.
Because it's our very first video we did as superhero news.
Yeah, on superhero news.
Oh, then I guess that makes sense. So I was like, why?
I recently saw a photo on my Facebook of us in the living room of your old apartment shooting a Film Pundits episode. That, I think the hardest thing was just learning the ropes.
That's like the prologue of our career.
Yeah, that was like where we learned to mess up, kind of found our voices, and like really kind of got the scope of what it takes to put on a show.
I learned how to do tech for us.
There was nights where Adam, the tech, would be messing up, and Hector and I would just lay on the floor, and it would be hours before we got to film anything. And it's not anything on you. It's just because we didn't know.
Yeah,
like,
we had no clue.
I
bought a bunch of gear, and I was like, I think I can figure this out. And then I'd be like, what does this knob do?
Right. There'd be moments where our entire shows would be scrapped because the camera just shut off, and there was no way for us to check it, you know, mid-show. You remember those days, right?
And it was also in the days where like that type of video content was not the thing.
Right.
So we were kind of like piecing things together from stuff that I'm like, well, if it plugs in together, it should work. Nowadays, it's easy. We like plug all this stuff in, and for the most part, unless it's like a software issue, it works.
Yeah.
But back then, it was just like trial and error, and like especially with things like mixers. I'm not an audio person. No. That's why I bought this stupid thing where you plug it in, you raise the levels, and you just go. There you go. Other than having like a 12 input mixer that has like knobs and switches, and I'm like, what does this do?
Like, I'm not Daft Punk, bro.
I don't know.
No.
So I think that was the toughest part, was just like the learning. Once you just do it on repeat, and now there's so many tutorials out there on YouTube. Yeah, it makes the process way faster and way easier. I mean, the setup and the breakdown just for this like studio, because it doubles as office space, it's pretty quick for the most part, because we now know where everything goes, so you're just plugging in stuff and just like managing cables.
We know exactly what we needed, and we know what price point we needed it at.
Yeah, that's huge.
We know what to work with, and like everything. This is a minimal setup, but you can't tell because Adam's a professional, and we know what we're doing. So like, it's just
work within your means.
Years of experience. Hector, you have different experience than us though, because you were also. I mean, you have a whole separate career outside of this, hosting and
I started
doing other stuff.
Yeah, I started to do more of that, and I was kind of seeing other tech setups and other, you know, stuff like at Geek and Sundry and all these other places. So that's been really interesting too. I feel like, I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think that's been the most difficult thing. It's just that trial and error.
Did it feel weird? When you would go to a super professional setup at DC Daily and then jump into Adam's room?
No, because no, dude, because even
where the mattress was on the wall.
Not at all. That's the really funny thing.
Oh my God, I remember that. Oh shit.
I was seeing that kind of level of production and being like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing too. There might be a budgetary difference, but even sometimes I'm like, sometimes it doesn't even feel like there is. Like I really started to see how. So many things in a more of a professional entertainment, especially pop culture discussion space, was like really kind of glued together with gum and tape and shit. But again, it's all stuff people don't see behind the scenes.
Yeah. Right.
It's
exactly.
cool.
Yeah. Okay.
It's great.
Good to know.
Your stuff's awesome.
So good job, Adam.
Oh,
you're great.
Yeah.
Good
Look,
job.
for what we need, like this setup is great. And like, again, I know we talked about before, but like being able to do things remotely has been a blessing.
You know what would have been perfect is, as you were saying that, if one of those lights fell, that would have been...
Don't even.
Most amazing.
Don't even.
Sorry. Adam, what's our last question?
Damn it, I wanted this one. No.
You wanted this one.
Yeah, that's the one I wanted.
No, that's not the one you wanted.
Yeah, he did. He wanted to threaten me with this.
I wanted to threaten you with murder.
This Michael Myers thing.
That's true.
Last question.
Randy Switzer asks, with the list of characters in the MCU ever expanding, how would you pair them up into teams? For instance, a new Avengers movie could be in the pipeline. Who do you want to see them on that team?
Let me stop you right there. Randy.
I love this question.
Randy.
Do you know Hector Navarro by chance?
Randy, interesting question, Randy.
Interesting query.
Muy interesante. Randy, perhaps we will have an answer for you in the future. Perhaps we'll have an answer for you after the revelations at Comic-Con.
Perhaps we'll have a whole episode dedicated to this type of answer.
Perhaps it will be multi-part.
Might be a triple-decker.
Could be.
Randy, I feel as though you have struck gold with that question.
You have caused a tremor in the force. A good one.
Yeah. You will reap the rewards.
What did that lady say at the end of Doctor Strange? You've caused an incursion.
Yes.
Incursion.
Randy, you've caused an incursion.
That is a perfect way to basically tell you subscribe.
Yeah.
If you haven't already. Check out our Patreon.
Yep.
We are going to be doing more experimentation with different types of videos. Some of them might end up on YouTube. Some of them might end up on Patreon. I know a lot of people ask, like, were you going to review this movie? I'm like, well, maybe not on YouTube, but maybe we'll do it on Patreon. But stick around. You'll find out. You'll get the answers to your questions, Randy. I promise you. Also, Patreon's a great place to participate in polls. If you have shows or movies that you would want us to react to, you should definitely be on there checking those things out.
That's the spot.
That's the spot.
That's the hottest place on the internet right now.
That's right.
Not OnlyFans. No. That's the naughty
Only
place.
Homies.
Come to Patreon. We'll treat you right over here. We got you.
That's right.
I mean, I feel like people are also getting their money's worth at OnlyFans.
Yeah,
they're definitely.
I'm sure.
Keep doing that too.
Well, dude. I'm not shaming nobody.
Also, give us some money.
Also, slightly pivot. Slightly pivot.
A little bit over here.
Oh, man. But yeah, Comic-Con, hopefully it's going to be, it will be a really fun time.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to seeing, what happens, what the con brings. Check out all the information down in the description for our meetup. Again, that is on the Friday of San Diego Comic-Con, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Mike Hess Brewing. Come say hi. Come have a brewski with us or a frosé.
Bring your mom.
Your fancy. That's right. Bring whoever you want. It'll be open for anybody. But until then, we'll see you guys in the next episode, which will be a recap of SDCC. Hopefully we'll have some fun stories to share with y'all. And we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.